It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's time for another stable episode of the Daily Stand Up. And I just recently got a question from some folks. They said, we've been listening to your stable podcast episodes. They're all coming out awesome. And send a special thanks to Mike Berry. So thanks, Mike. Um, Someone asked me, they said, what is the best way for us to get started with stable? Now, obviously, the first step, so I'm going to give you the top 12 or so steps to really kick off stable in your organization. So, first, you need to review the stable framework. So, review it with your team, discuss the challenges and areas that need improvement, get commitment from the team to learn the stable framework, and agree with a go forward plan. I might also add that having some training or coaching on what stable is, at least a kickoff, might be very helpful. It'll help your teams get on board faster and it will help them understand exactly what they're committing to. Second, you should create a process asset library, otherwise known as a configuration management system or CMS. Identify or create a physical location where all of your lists, templates, and other process controls will be stored and updated. Ideally, this should be a version controlled document repository. If that is not available, use a shared network folder with appropriately named subfolders that get backed up regularly. Third, you should create a system schedule, a schedule or calendar showing all the future planned events, including scheduled asset maintenance and any repeating timed events like end of month activities or quarterly reviews. Then you want to create a system backlog. Now, the system backlog is a single location organized by 4 work queues: the customer request queue, the schedule activity queue, the equipment maintenance queue, and the CCAPA review. These separate queues are the landing site for incoming work. They can be as simple as lists in a spreadsheet or sticky notes on a wall. All right, next you want to create a performance console, otherwise known as an information radiator. This is a physical area at a work site where queues, the kanban board, work in process, and reporting assets are posted. In Lean, this concept is called visible management, and we want to make all work identifiable and posted here. Then you can create a kanban board. The kanban board will be the centerpiece on a performance console. This is a multi-column tool used to track the following work items: objectives, selected tasks to do, work in process, work completed. Optionally, columns can be added for additional categories such as pending approval, approved, or on hold, to test, to user acceptance testing or UAT. Your environment dictates which columns would be most appropriate to construct for your team. Then you can create historical logs. These logs would include a production change log, a kata card repository, training logs, and a SLAM chart repository. Then you can create customer satisfaction surveys and histograms. Customer satisfaction should always be measured using a histogram, showing changes over time. While the process owner is responsible for gathering customer information to improve the process outcomes, the master chief is responsible for gathering customer satisfaction data. Then you can create your SLAM charts, service level attainment monitoring. These charts are the primary means for reporting the success of a service over time. All primary services should have a SLAM chart posted for them on a performance console and should be updated daily. SLAM histograms should also be tracked to show trends over time. SLAM charts are created and owned by the process owner. Then you can create a cumulative system performance chart. The CSP chart gets populated by performance information during the quarter. Be prepared to present it at a quarterly business review meeting if your organization holds one of those. Next, you want to systematize value streams. Working with a team, identify all value streams within your area. Systematize each one by creating process maps, collecting customer information, expected service levels, and creating SOPs and kata card templates. Create process and asset recovery models and lessons learned documents. When identifying repeatable processes or katas, it's best to start at the end of each value stream and work backwards to the beginning to make sure you don't miss anything. Then you can determine the length of your master cycle. Working with a team, identify the desired length of your master cycle within your areas. Anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks is perfect. I recommend 2. If you work alongside an agile team, it's best to match their master cycle to support their sprint pattern so that you can report on these things together. Then you can establish master cycle meetings. Establish the master cycle planning meeting, the daily Kaizen stand up meeting, and the master cycle review meeting and retrospectives. These can be the same as your sprint or scrum meetings. Next, you should establish interdepartment meetings. If they don't already exist, you need to establish a change control committee meeting, a regular CCAPA meeting with the service desk, and be part of engineering status update meetings. Then you can establish an alert system. Off the shelf products exist for this purpose, or you can build your own. Start simple and add to it as needed. In time, it will become invaluable. Then you can set up a list of training logs or a training log. Establish a training registry showing who has been trained for each recurring process. Indicate the date and time the training took place so that retraining can happen as needed in 6 months or so. And then finally, set up a suggestion box. Put a visible suggestion box on or near a performance console. Tell your group about it. Encourage suggestions. Act on them when they come. Then it's time for you to get started, right? And once you get started, Mike made it a point to point out to Mike made it a point to say that we should be sure to have all of our people get proper training. We learned from the Agile Revolution that an untrained staff is far less effective than a properly trained staff. So I think that's important for us to really dig in and understand what we need to do in order to get stable moving. Now, what I can tell you is I'm excited about stable. It's not as difficult as it seems. Everything's pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of alignment. And I think that's a lot of what stable is. It's about aligning the people with the work. It's about aligning the work so we're not feeding the hidden factory. And it's about making certain that we're all on the same page with delivery and how we're going to deliver and how we're going to track change. So as you get excited about stable, good news coming up in 2023, we are going to be launching some stable classes through Agile Dad. So if you want to learn more about the stable framework or get certified as a master chief or a process owner, we're going to have those certifications available for you beginning in 2023. So excitement abounds. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, make sure you remember to reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com, where I'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.